In Judge Kobayashi's order, she states that, quote, the defendants represented at the hearing that if the court denied the voluntary remand, they would file a motion to dismiss on this issue. The court therefore orders defendants to file their motion to dismiss on this issue. The issue at hand is whether or not the Department of Defense has made a final decision with regards to placing a firing range complex at Pagat. In their brief to the court, DoD explains that they have not made a final decision and are asking that they be given time to, quote, complete an ongoing review and analysis with respect to the siting of the live fire training range complex on Guam, end quote. DoD further states that, quote, the Navy's review will include an assessment to determine whether application of a technical solution that could minimize the physical footprint of the training range complex is warranted at the locations identified by the plaintiffs in the complaint, unquote. They also state that the ROD, or Record of Decision, issued in September of 2010, expressly deferred making any decision on that issue. The plaintiffs, on the other hand, argue that DoD has made a final decision, and anything the Navy does now is a post hoc rationalization. In their brief, they state, quote, just what do they think a record of decision is? It records a decision, end quote. But DoD argues that in the record of decision, they expressly deferred making any decision on the firing range issue. The Guam Preservation Trust, on the other hand, argues that the record of decision represents a decision to, quote, narrow the alternatives remaining under that decision to two, both at Pagat. They cite sections of the record of decision that state that DoD will, quote, defer selection of a specific site in the Route 15 area pending completion of the Section 106 process, end quote. And, quote, there are two alternatives for the location of live fire training ranges, both located at the Route 15 area, end quote. Thus, the plaintiffs argue that the Navy, or the Department of Defense, has clearly decided in its record of decision to site the firing range complex in the Pagat or Route 15 area. The only question, say the plaintiffs, is whether it will be alternative A, which is in the Pagat Route 15 area, or alternative B, which is also in the Pagat or Route 15 area. Both sides will likely expound upon these arguments when DoD files its motion to dismiss.